Hello and welcome back to Underwhelming Barrage, episode 18. We are here this week for our special post BIATL episode. We're going back to back weeks just because we didn't want to miss out on, telling everyone how things, went for us. We're doing this half asleep and half sick, some fully sick. Ian, he is here
Thank you.
sacrificing his health just to make sure that you guys get exactly what you deserve. So,
I try my best.
yeah, thanks for coming on this week, everyone. And I do want to say that everyone here on this episode had at least one top eight at BIATL. So, congrats to everyone. Tyler,
Yeah.
you did it with not even your own physical deck.
I did not.
Yeah, you had to
Sounds like a Tyler move.
Yeah, had to borrow Pasquale's deck. He decided it was so good that he just borrowed the whole deck and then was scrambling to build it after he made uh, Top Cut with it, which
That
is
was the plan in the hotel room before,
yeah,
Like, sat there like, it'd be really funny if I play it and top cut it with it.
yeah,
And Tim will
uh,
have to be frantically finding the cards.
George
And then
said
we
the
had
exact same thing to me the night after pool one started. Of hey, if you top eight, I want to play your pad my deck the next day. So
yeah.
it's
And
fun.
you were one win short. You got ninth in Pod A.
A
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, ninth
yeah,
in Pod A. Pod B, of course, didn't go well for you. I think I knocked
no,
you out like round
you
four.
did.
Um, and then lost the next round myself, unfortunately. Uh, Ian had a rough go in the pods with Yoda. You ran into some bad matchups too. Uh, the space decks,
hmm
right?
Yeah, space decks are my mortal enemy. Um,
Yeah.
it's fine though. I had a good time, and my teammate Reflex crushed with it. He was undefeated in Pool Two, Pool B, whatever you want to call it, the second one, and then ended up fourth. So yeah, he crushed with it, and it's definitely a good deck if you get good matchups.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I feel like that's a lot of decks. I mean, even for me,
Yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like I had a pretty good matchup spread. I played Ray Data Vault. It's just unfortunately I ran into two Han4 Tarkin Towns in the Swiss pool. I had between the team event and the pod I played in, I had three total losses, one to Han2 Blue and then two to Han4 Tarkentown. So that was unfortunate. And then, of course, CJ coming off, I feel like who won the team event, CJ?
Oh man, that's a
I,
really good question, John.
I
You
forget.
know what? I think it was on our show that I actually called it, and it was our team, if I remember correctly. That
Yeah.
be you and Mr. Ophir.
Yeah, you did. Called shot the back-to-back team championship, so that was a blast. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Ian's team made the top eight as well. I believe you guys lost in what the top eight?
Yeah, my
Eight,
my team and Mickey's team also lost in the
both
top
lost
eight.
top eight. Yeah,
hmm
yeah. Of course, Ian, you lost to your own Bothans, right?
Yeah, we got kicked out by George Hudson's team, Cardboard Chef team.
Yeah,
They were the triple space aggro. I guess Pia isn't really aggro, but triple space decks
yeah,
Yeah.
as their comp, and McClunky eventually took them down.
yeah,
Yep. And we lost to Said McClunky. I believe the Glitter Boys was what they were. Was their team name?
it was indeed their team name.
Yeah.
yeah. There might be a story behind that. I don't really know, but that was once again it was actually kind of a surreal event where it was the same two teams, more or less in the finals of the team event, and the same player
Three of
won the
the six
singles
returning
event.
players.
Yeah, which is like unheard of. So if that
Mhm.
happens again, I don't even know what. So, but let's jump into the wrap up for BIATL. We had in the finals, Phil Samuelson from McClunky beat who did he beat? Carlos, right?
Carlos
Carlos
Apodaca.
Apodaca.
Yeah, from Late Night Gaming Team. On he was playing Quinlan, right? Quinlan Tarkentown.
Yep.
Well, then, yep.
And then there was a
A
Yoda
very
deck.
interesting Quinlan.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't.
Funny story. I don't know the full details, but I believe Carlos panic pivoted to Quinlan like 10 minutes before Pool A started. And Loopy came up to me and was like, I need a Quinlan leader. I don't have one. And I handed him my showcase that I've been playing for like a year. I was like, all right, gonna need this at the end of the day, but go crush. and he made
that's
it to the
funny.
finals. So
Not the only things these were missing. You'll find that deck list was only playing
Navic
2
too, right?
Karis
Or
because
Yeah.
he didn't have them. He was
Right.
also only playing
and
9
9 card
cyborg
sideboard.
cards.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
Still got second.
yeah, freaking BIATL makes you do some pretty crazy things. It turns out. So they didn't have enough singles. They didn't. There's a few other things, but like overall, the event was run pretty well. I don't really have any complaints about anything. It was great to see everyone. Of course, CJ and I and Ophir won the team event with Towson Red, Ray Data Vault, and Quinlan Tarkentown. And then Tyler's teammates were second, as we mentioned, with Anakin Data Vault, Towson Yellow,
And Han 4 Tarkin.
and Han 4 Tarkentown. Yeah. So if anyone's looking for trilogy decks, for locals or just for fun, I recommend checking out the BIATL team event because it was, a trilogy style format. So
All the top 8, I think, have merit to go and check those decks out.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. So Tyler, we'll start with you for this. Why don't you tell us about, how your pod experience went, the team event, and just overall your thoughts on BIATL.
Well, as always, BIATL was by far a very fun event. I enjoyed the first one, and I greatly enjoyed the second one. My first day of play was not as good as the other days of play. We went 1-2 in the team event. We only beat Ian's team in round 1, just barely. And then we immediately, or no, we
No,
lost to
you
you.
guys,
Okay. No, we
you
lost
guys
to
still
you.
lost, but you
Yeah,
beat me.
what am I saying? I was the only one that beat you.
Oh,
I'm misremembering. Because my head's like 1-2. We then played another team. The second round, beat them, and then lost to Sunny's team in round 3. Like that one was the closer one we lost to. And then Philip was like, "All right, I'm gonna go get a nap." So he goes back to the hotel room, goes take a nap, 4 hours before the next pool, and he then proceeds to never lose another match for the rest of the weekend. So it's a good help for him on that one. I took my team event. I was playing Han 2 Blue, more of a lesser force. It still had all the force, force package in it, but no Anakins. And I was going up high, higher on Rex and aggressive negotiations. Both cards I greatly enjoyed, and they did great for me in the team event. And then I went 1-2 in the first pool. I lost to Ray 10 playing Cad Tarkin. I was like round 3. And then I lost to another miserable Han 2 matchup, and was just like, all right. Wasn't really feeling the deck anymore. I was like, I'll probably swing it back, maybe try a more crazier version of Han 2. And then I watched Eric Grumpy Elephant just kill with Hannikin Data Vault in the team event, and then I watched Pasquale 4-0 the first few rounds of pool 1 with the Anakin deck, and I was like, if you make Top Cut tomorrow, you mind if I borrow your deck for pool 2? And, we laugh it off in the thing, be like really funny, if I make it, and then it'll be like an issue for Tim because then he's got to start frantically looking for cards.
Yeah.
It ended up all of us had to frantically look for cards. My deck looked very fancy at the end. A lot of mismatched normals, foils, prestiges, all
Yeah.
shoved into one pile. But
it's crazy. You mentioned that you went 1-2 in the first pod. Ian I think went 2-2 in both of the ones that he played in. I went 4-2 or whatever it was, 3-2 in the pod that I played in. Like these are not easy. Like this event is always harder than like sectors and the regionals that
Every
you
round,
play in.
besides maybe 1 or 2, I was facing someone. I was like, this would be like
Yeah.
at worst the finals of a PQ, if not like day 2 of a sector or
Right,
regional.
like same for me. Like every opponent I played was like someone that I knew from a team or someone who day 2'd Worlds, and it was just like it's like man, all right. It's like so you just don't get any free wins. Like my very first round of the singles event is someone that I played in the semifinals of the team event, and it's just like there's just no free ones. So
Mhm.
that's great. CJ, you had quite a weekend yourself. We won the team
Yeah.
event, as we mentioned, and you also managed to top 8 your pod and finish top 16 in the AK. Why don't you tell us about your
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah. So The way that we did it, which was to you and Ophir's advice, which was really great, is we didn't sign up for the first pod. We're going to do the team event, go get a steak dinner, then play in the pod 2. Ended up working out great for me. We did excellent in the team event. Only dropping the one round day 1. I think
Yeah,
that
to
was that
Ian's
round.
team.
That was
Yeah.
Ian's team. Very and honestly, I really wish like all 3 of those matches were streamed because I
Oh
think
yeah,
they were
those are
all
phenomenal.
so good. Man,
Yeah.
me and Clueless had a crazy battle that ended up squeaking out. You and Ophir came down to basically last decision action, right? Who
Yeah,
smuggles Cassie in the game completely changes, right? Or vice versa. It was crazy.
yeah, it
Uh,
was Xaxes with planetary bombardment for lethal
yeah,
when he had 2 units out. Like it was a
Yeah.
crazy
nuts.
sequence of events.
And then my
Yeah,
game went to
nuts.
3 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your game went to 3-2. It was just nuts. But we had a really strong showing. I really, really liked our deck choices. Tails and Red seems like a strange one, although it just ended up working out so well to be sat first in a lot of the matchups we had. It has some really polarizing matchups, which were really fun to play. And ultimately, I think every matchup towards the end, especially in the top cut, everyone we sat someone next to that we had planned, we did win those rounds, right, John? It was like, hey, we think this is a good matchup, and it did come to fruition, right? And so that felt really good that all our preparation and practice actually worked out. Really fun to win that event. In the singles pod, I took Hantu ECL. I went 5-0 and then drew the last 2 rounds. Ended up drawing with Reflex at the end to go into the top cut the following day. I will say, like, riding off that high of winning the team event and then legitimately like 5 minutes after playing my top 16 match
Yeah.
was rough. Was really rough. It was like I don't know if I've ever had that type of like emotional ride where it's like, oh, we just won the thing. Take a big
Now you got to
picture
do
with
it
a
all
big
over
check.
again
Oh, now yeah, okay, quick. Now hurry up, run over there. Like use the bathroom, and now you're playing in the top 16
with a different deck.
with a different deck. Oh, hey, hurry up.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one, like, if I have any feedback for Frank, I mean, it's just that, and I don't know how you really fix this per se, but it's just so much crammed into one weekend that sometimes things happen like you mentioned, right? It's like you play finals of a team event, and then it's like, oh, by the way, now you have to play a totally different deck in a totally different event. Like some people might say, well, that's like first world problems, right? Because like you just one event, now you're playing a top one of another one. But like, that does kind of suck
it's hard.
for the
Yeah.
people that do it because it
Yeah,
is really fatiguing. So
yeah. I had
and it was untimed. So it's like we played an hour
yes,
and a
on
half.
time part. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my feedback. Let's not do that. When the judges said that, it was like, oh, I don't like that. I don't.
And
This is gonna
that
be
was
rough.
right when we paired me versus Kira
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
quarterfinals. Judge was like, "Oh, by
right.
the way, it's untimed," and we're like,
Ooh.
and I was
Hmm.
playing Sam, who I know, and I was like, "All right, Sam, buckle in, because this is gonna be a
Yeah.
while." And
This would be a while.
it took about an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
and I 2-0'd him even, and it still took an
Oh,
hour and a
for
half. So
two things. One, I didn't mention I did lose to Pasquale, who was on the show right before BIATL, which is
Mhm.
pretty cool. And then second, on your Kira match there, I think at the end of that match, you had no deck left, like legitimately no deck left,
Mhm.
and you were just like cycling techs with like a tech into another tech into a spark of hope from your row, putting the other tech back in to your deck. It was awful to watch. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm glad you won, but boy, was that like just absolutely painful to sit there and go, I think we're gonna win this, but it's gonna take another like hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it
rough.
was just kind of one of those weird situations. So Kier or so Ray really can't lose to Blue Green Control as they're currently built. Uh, there's a lot of players who think they can deck you with like Vigilance, which is what Sam tried. But the problem is like after you have no deck, you have like 17 resources and you can just do techs over and over again. So it's like they think they won, but then like the game is still over, and it's so that's actually what happened. I think, and maybe even both games, and it was just
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Took a while,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, same thing happened. Same thing in the finals too, right? Like, I think you
kinda,
got to
yeah.
the point where like kinda like you had a really great Luke into a tech. Like it didn't go out like they scooped, which was really nice of them. But you did have a Keller in that was going to come from row. Like that game is going to go for another like 20 minutes.
That one was gonna go for like another 5 minutes because Zach was at like 20 some damage on
Oh
the
yeah, I guess
base.
he was pretty well.
But yeah, like it's this kind of the same situation. Ray does not
It
win
was like
quickly.
an hour-long game 1, and then a 5-minute game 2,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then a
okay.
more like more
That was the
longer
most
game 3.
oh man, that was the most demoralizing game 2 because I had just lost. Ophir had
Yeah.
won, and then I was like, "Oh, John's ahead game 1, excellent, we got this." And then he dropped that in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
and I'm
game
like,
2
"Oh
was
my
rough. I had
God."
some questions from people like, "Hey, why did you scoop so early? Like you're playing such a grindy deck." And I was like, "Look, man, it's like I mulliganed a no turn 1 hand into a no turn 1 hand and didn't draw a turn 1 or a turn 3, and like I could have dragged it out for maybe a few more minutes, but like that was never winning that game.
No,
It just sucked. We
we're
just
all happy
bricked.
that you scooped it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just
we're all
bricked.
happy that.
So,
Yeah,
but it worked out. Like you said. So
Yeah.
can't complain. Mickey, what about you?
Yeah, I had a really good weekend. McClunky was beating me up all weekend though. Cause Tyler, Spanish Alex is he on McClunky as well?
Yep.
Yeah, so I got beat by 4 McClunky and then Tata all weekend. And huge shout outs to Tim. I loved him. He's the sweetest guy. Every time I lost, especially the big ones, he would come and comfort me first before going to celebrate with his teammates, which was very, very sweet
nice
of him.
guy.
But I went 4-0 that the first half of Pool A, and then I lost to Phil in round 5. In the first game was kind of close, but second game, I kind of had a boneheaded play where it was like he had a Caloran back with 2 damage on it or something, and I had a Mason play. And the whole time I was like, just don't kill the Caloran because you don't want him to play a second one. And then offhandedly, he does an action and I kill the Caloran. I was like, ah, shit. And he slams the second one immediately. So I had a couple of misplays throughout the weekend as well, but you live and you learn. And then I beat Timothy in round 6, and then I lost to Grumpy on my winning in round 7, and then I also lost to Grumpy in top 8 of the team events. So specifically, Grumpy was beating me up all weekend, but we had 2 great matches: Padme versus the Anakin Data Vault, and then Quinlan versus the Anakin Data Vault. And I don't know if the deck list changed much between the teams versus the singles event, but it didn't feel like it. At least not like the core of the deck changed.
It's a Data Vault deck. They're all the same card.
Yeah.
I don't think Grumpy's list changed too much. There was like some differences between Grumpy's to then Pasquale's to mine because that's how it kind of.
I know, like, I don't know how many Centas that you guys played in the singles event, but I know that like Han 4 had some of the Centas in the team, so he only had one. But like the core of Bounty Hunters, Corey, Cobb, Vanth, all the value green hero cards are all the same. So 2 very close matches there. And then after Pool A, I knew that if I didn't top 8 Pool A, I was pretty screwed for the rest of the tournament because I was wiped. And that ended up being the case. I went 2-2 in Pool 2. I beat Anakin Blue Force, and then I lost to Spanish Alex on Quinlan Tarkentown. And then I beat Kylo DV, and I lost to Tata on Ray Data Wall. And so throughout the weekend, I think I just lost to some bad matchups. Like I think I could have won some of those matchups, but all in all, especially the Ray and the Quinlan, I think are some of Padme's worst matchups. And part of me wishes I had run Quinlan through the second pool just because, like, get reps on that for the top 8 of the team event if I think I'm not going to do great in this event, as well as like just wanting to change it up. But given I had just played 30 minutes prior and I had to like switch cards from my deck because there's like a 25 card overlap, I didn't want to make the swap and just ran it back. Overall, great event though, and like the best part is always the hangs and getting to talk with people. And obviously, you want to win as much as you can, but being able to see everyone in here, as well as like everyone that came from KTOD and all the McClunky guys and all the locals, and obviously all the Boffins that I don't get to see on a regular basis, is just the best part of the event and why I go to these things as much as I can.
Yeah, it's always blasting people, and I do want a second to shout out to Tim. Like, Tim is the team captain, of course, for Tyler's team, and it's just he is like the nicest guy. Like he, not that he doesn't care if his team does well or not, but he always roots for his friends, like no matter what. Like after we won the team event, versus his team, like he was the first one over to be like, "Hey man, congrats." He's just such a great guy. He does a lot for for the game. So kudos to him. It was always great seeing him and Claire. So Ian, How'd your event go?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. The thing I prepped most for was the team event, as like we all kind of feel like that is the real main event, even though it's the smaller prize pool. I think going forward, if we do more tournaments, that it'll definitely be shifting towards 3v3 being the focus, because it's so much fun. Um, I really liked the preparation that I think all of BN did for the 3v3. Like we had kind of everyone all hands on deck. We had 7 teams. Everybody had a winning record. Like it was a really awesome experience. We had 3 in the top 8, so that felt really good. I think the big thing that what we realized for the 3v3 event was just that Piet was like really well positioned into uh an an event where you get to choose matchups. It kind of had this polarizing thing where like every team has to have at least one bad matchup in the Piet, if not multiple. And then we thought that its particular bad matchups like a Sabine ECL deck weren't going to be anywhere in the event, and I think there was maybe like 1 or 2. So I think that was a good call. I think all 7 of our teams had a Piet red, and I think we like had 9 total losses over 6 rounds plus top 8 from all 3 of the decks. Like it was some crazy record for the Piet decks. Um, so that was really fun. Didn't get there in the long run, but got the top 8, so that was cool. And then singles event, as I said on the show last week, I wasn't lying. I did bring Yoda Tarkentown. This is like my side project that no one believed in, which maybe for good reason, maybe not. But I particularly did not do great with it. I lost to a bunch of space decks, um, one of which should never have happened because I was so tired after pool 1 that I forgot that Maul trades with Luke, and my opponent just never removed his Maul from the board after it attacked into my Luke, which then made me attack into it with my Yoda, which then he had second Maul for Xaxes lethal on the 7 damaged Yoda that should not have any damage on it. So that was a fun experience. I'm definitely not beating myself up after about that one, but it's fine. But yeah, so it was fun. Like I think the fatigue was real for like everyone. Like it's just too many events back to back. Like we did it the first time and this time because it's like, well, we want to give people the opportunity to play as much through as possible.
Yeah.
But I think we need to be realistic about like is it even healthy to make people do these things? I mean, no one's
Yeah.
making anyone do them, but
Yeah, I
like
mean, we
even
do
to even
have
offer it, like
choices.
it's
Yeah, like
That,
yeah,
we learned
that's
the
why we went and
first
got
time,
dinner.
right? It's
Yeah.
like
yeah,
like the first BIATL, the team event was all done in one day, right? So like it was double limb 1 day event, and we played for like 12 hours, and
yeah. It was crazy.
that's why,
Technically was done in one day.
yeah, and that's why, you know, like Ophir and I knew, like, hey man, like let's just not play this first pool. Let's just have a nice dinner, spend time, with the team, hang out, and it was just so much better. Like I'm still wiped from it, but it was still like so much more fun.
I will say after like the first BIATL 2, no other tournament is that exhausting, and it was like great reps. Like going into Worlds, I was like, I only have to do 9 of these rounds. You tell me I only have to do 9. I've done 10 back-to-back days. This is totally fine. This is
Yeah,
doable.
yeah,
So good prep for the
Yeah.
big tournaments
I,
as
I would
well.
imagine that going forward, we will not be doing something like that. I imagine it'll just be 2 pools of the 3v3 tournament into the top cut, maybe some on-demand drafts or
yeah.
whatnot. Speaking of draft, though, on Sunday after the uh, early exit from the top 8 of the team tournament, I did do the 1K draft. So originally it was supposed to be 64 players. You do 8 pods. Winner of each pod goes into a top 8, and then you draft again, and then you split up the 1K from there. Uh, there wasn't enough people to sign up. I think it was mostly because of the fatigue. People were just exhausted. They were swooned out. I am a crazy person and continued to play. And so I decided, all right, it's fine. I'll draft, and ended up 3-0ing my pod. So there ended up being 5 pods, and we just divided up the 1,000. So each winner of the 5 pods got $200.
Nice.
So made a little cash there. That was fun. I had a busted Leia red deck. I
Yeah, I
think John
saw it.
saw some of my
Yeah,
games.
it was pretty cracked.
Dude, this set, the limited format, is so much better than last set. Like, that was my first real draft with it, and it was so cool. It was awesome. I had like 6 1-drops for my Leia deck. Like, it was busted.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later too. But the PQ season's coming up, and my first PQ on December 13th, so the second week, uh, is limited in Pittsburgh. So I'm pretty excited about that one.
Yeah. So yeah, besides that, it was a great event, man. Lot of SWU was played. Crazy that we had back-to-back winners in both events. Grats to everyone who won. Grats to everyone who participated and had a good time. And I just really would like to thank Frank and Courtney for putting this together. They're like the people who get things done in the background, making sure things happen. They're thankless in doing it. They do it for the community because they love us and they love the community, and it is not easy to put this stuff together.
Yeah,
So really thankful for them, and to Nick, our TO, who's on our team, who works at Cards HQ. He did a lot of man hours because like the MTG Melee is not set up to do either a 64 player draft where the 2 drafts then go, or the 8 drafts go into another draft. It's not set up for 3v3 tournaments.
yeah,
It's not set up for 2 pools that then go into another like top 16 that combines. Like, he had to do a lot of stuff in the background to make sure the tournament ran smoothly. We had judges that came in like the night of because our previous head judge could not make it. So we had to get emergency judges in, somehow got that to work out. Like, it was
yeah,
crazy that the event actually ran, and ran as smooth as it did.
yeah,
So
yeah. They were
really thankful for everyone that helped out.
very few minor issues. Frank and Courtney were running around with their heads cut off all weekend. Um, and it was just, yeah, it was a great experience. So shout out to everyone who helped run it. The casters, Josh came down.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
he
Yeah,
did
there's just so many
great.
people to thank, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So
I think everyone had such a good time. So
yeah,
if the biggest complaint is that we played too much SWU, like, we're
right.
doing something right,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
exactly. And I believe the next one was announced at this last BIATL. I believe it's March 20th, if I recall, in New
Yeah, I think that's the
Jersey.
weekend that FFG had said is
Yeah.
free.
So no
More
details I
details will be
think are
coming.
like yeah and confirmed yet, but the talk was New Jersey and possibly Seattle. So we'll see what comes out of that. But be on the lookout soon for the next announcement. And I believe Frank said it was going to be 3v3 focused. So we're definitely excited for that because that's our our favorite format to play. Uh,
Yep.
so it'll be fun. So let's talk about some decks that kind of popped up in Seattle. It was our first major event of set, well, in 6. So we'll just start with Ian. Why don't you just take it right back over? Talk about your the yours and Reflexes Yoda deck and anything else that might have surprised you from the tournament.
Yeah. The Yoda deck was so going into the singles event. I assumed that everyone would be on like mid-rangey strategies. I think there was a lot of uh really really good mid-range tools. Specifically tools that let mid-range decks kind of feast on control that previously they couldn't really do. And so my thought process was like, well, I just want to play the biggest mid-range deck that there is and just beat all of those other mid-range decks. Also have a really good matchup into control, and then just lose points into the space aggro decks and try to dodge them. So that's what the Yoda deck kind of got inspired from. I was a big fan of that deck prior to Galactics. When we were working on the Kylo deck, it wasn't always at a good spot, and so I was working on Yoda on the side. That was obviously a force version at the time when we had force throw, and like you were just kind of going all in on that. But then once force throw got banned, I kind of just left Yoda on its wayside, and then came back to it because there was the knowledge and defense card. Um, that card is so insane. It's so good, and it really lets you do these crazy combo turns with Ray, to be able to just kill random things. And when I started doing that, I started changing out like what cards I wanted to play as like openers and my 6 drops and things like that. So the biggest one is like Karis Nemec is just such an awesome turn 2 play. It is an awesome any turn play, to be honest, but that card is just easily the best card in the set, and I felt like it would be crazy not to play it, especially because it gives you 2 bodies. That's now 2 units for Yoda to take advantage of to try to get removed so that you can activate the ability and just like keep rolling through actions. And so I was like, well, if I'm doing this, like I can't really play the Force. Like there's just no way. KTOD kind of felt a little too slow, which is kind of wild because like last set it clearly wasn't too slow, but it does kind of feel slightly too slow now.
Agree. Yeah.
And so I was trying to be like, all right, well, Tarkin Town is like, I was trying to find out what base I wanted to do. I was gonna just do 30, but I was like, well, I might as well just try out Tarkin Town and see how it was, and it just started overperforming in certain matchups. So that's kind of how the deck came together. Again, the whole strategy is just like dodge space. I have like 8, 9 sideboard cards for space. The second pool I ended up playing the 3 Jedi Starfighters just to have a chance. And it's still like a miserable matchup. So
Yeah.
I personally did not do well, but Reflex obviously did really well, and you know he kind of did the thing that it needed to do, which was dodge the bad matchups, get all these mid-range matchups, and crush them. So
Yeah. And then Tyler, your team, the big deck surprise deck of the weekend was the Anakin Data Vault deck.
Yeah, Anakin Data Vault. I, am not the creator, the purveyor, the person that backed it. That was, of course, Grumpy Elephant with help from Pasquale. They've been playing it for a lot beforehand, and I kind of just got the first hand dipped when I was just like, all right, play round 1, Han 1 blue, and you just start to feel the power and just value of all your units, free trading everything, and the inclusion of such of the new like set 6 made this deck actually insane. Kellerin, Karis, talk about Karis earlier. It's even crazier in this deck when it can kill 7 health units. You swing it for 5, get the spy, do another 2. It just gives so much value and board control that you will end up in situations where you have killed all your opponent's units, and by 6 or 7 resources they'll have nothing. They will have already used their leader. You have not even flipped Anakin yet, and you have 5 units on board to their nothing, and you just completely take over games just from pure ground control, like absolute slaughter.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it
you
just so happens that red green hero right now is just such and it's in such a great place. Like so many cards from set 6 really bolstered red green hero. You're able to play Nimic and Mina and the same deck. You have Typho, like you have the new Constable that hits upgrades, Queen Amidala, like can just go on and on. Card pool's crazy. So CJ, you also played Red Green Hero, but it turns out it was Han Solo.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any like surprise. Like I talked about it a lot. A lot of people were talking about the green red hero cards. I think to me the biggest surprise was um what other people brought. Like I think the Anakin DV deck was really cool. I think Grumpy did a great job. Tyler and you and Pasquale did a great job piloting it throughout the entire weekend. The Yoda was of course really great. But like what I didn't understand is there was just a lack, and I don't know if it was a lack of people bringing it or just winning with it, but I saw no pilot decks in the 1v1 stuff, like almost none.
Well, they were
I know,
beating
like,
me.
they were
Yeah.
all they were all hitting me, man.
yeah,
They were
beat
floating
one as
around.
so
it's just
I think
strange.
I think people were prepared for the pilot decks, and so either they beat them
so.
or didn't want to
Well,
play them.
well, just Han. Han Pilot was the
On
only one
forwards,
that
yeah.
that I saw. There was like hardly no Boba, no
I
Vader.
got the only Boba, dude. I
Yeah,
swear, I
yeah,
got the only Boba.
I
yeah.
got a Luke Data Vault.
Did I see, and I could be wrong in this, but I see that there was a lot of Piet even in the 1v1, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
there
was a lot of the BN guys who rocked Piet in the 3v3
Just kept
decided to
rocking
just
it.
run it back. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially after the 3v3 event for the first pool, because they were just like, well, I've just been playing it for 6 rounds,
yeah.
might as well just keep playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it was really diverse, which was surprising to me. A lot more diverse than I thought it was going to be honest. But I do think like Han 1 winning the whole thing, Han 1 green, like not surprising, right? I think we could have predicted it was going to be doing something in that tournament, if not winning, at least being towards the top. We saw Quinlan doing very well, which I know some people were in the Padme camp. I know our team wasn't. We were very much Team Quinlan, so that made a lot of sense as well. And then of course Red Green Hero was just crushing. I did a little bit surprised we didn't see a little bit more Ray towards the top, but I guess that Anakin matchup is really bad.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, so that definitely takes that out of the contention for a little bit at
Wait,
least.
so Anakin's really good into Ray?
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I played round 6 and round 7. I played 2 raid data vaults. I 2-0'd them both. One of them was your teammate Shadowfax. I think his name's Wes on
Yeah,
round
Wes.
6.
He's a good guy.
Unfortunately for him, I don't think I've played a more easier game in my life. Was this Anakin versus Ray? Like it?
I mean, it kind of
felt-
makes sense because like Ray just adds 1 XP to their guys, and your guy
You can
lets
still
you
kill
attack
him.
for
You
2
still
more.
kill them,
Yeah,
and then you just flood the board, and they don't have any comeback mechanic that can do anything. Like the
yeah.
Luke will kill one,
Not
it'll
enough
get
for
traded
score.
off.
Yeah,
It was disgusting.
It's rough from Ray. I mean, there's some things Ray can do to make it like a little better, but it's always going to be, kind of rough in general, just because you have a lot of the same units, and there's get +2 attack all the time, so it's hard to keep board against them, and that's the main thing. So, but yeah, I mean, it just how it is.
Yeah, and I do think the meta is going to adjust a little bit. Like looking on paper, and I know you might have won some, but like the Anakin deck, I imagine it struggles with some of the space decks. I know you have Jedi Starfighter, but like that's really all you have. So like
I think that's why they're maining the Constable.
Yeah, and you're just
Constable.
and that makes I like even like if we move away from the pilot stuff, like I imagine some of those matchups could be a bit challenging. I'm interested to see what people do. Of course, I hope we're not and I'm playing Red Green Hero, but I hope the meta adjusts a little bit so we're not just seeing all those value cards just being like the whole entire meta.
That's
We'll
what
see.
FFG wanted, though, right? Like FFG wanted it to be like this mid-range grind fest.
Maybe it'd be interesting to see.
They did want something like this, yeah. They also wanted fewer red decks, and that's really not
Why did they print
really not
Charismatic?
happening.
Yeah, I think we can all
Yeah.
agree that Charismatic should have been printed, whether you're an aggro player or a mid-range player or anything.
Yeah,
That card is
Card
way,
is busted.
that card is
Yeah.
way
too busted.
I
had,
put my control opponent into checkmate by like killing my own Karis with the hammerhead and having
the spy.
showing him a sudden ferocity in hand to be like, I can put this on my Nemec to
Yeah.
attack you for 5. So you either have to kill both my units this turn, or one of them's either going to kill you because I'm going to kill you with the hammerhead, or I'm going to put the ferocity onto the readied spy token and get your last 5 points of damage. It was pretty dirty.
Yeah, we had Ryan Miles on a few weeks ago, and he was talking about the bans when they banned Force Throw, and how the meta share of red was like 60%, and they were fine with that. But like now it's like I feel like red is by far the strongest color. Like I don't think it's even close.
I think it's green.
Okay.
I don't think
so I guess it is
it's
close.
red. I think it's a little bit more like, at least in the Anakin deck, like Karis is the only really red card. You're otherwise playing Open Fire and Red 5. The green hitters are just like the better ones in that deck.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
red and
Queen
green.
is busted.
Yeah.
Queen is I cast a lot of Queen this
She's
weekend.
insane.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that card's nuts.
It's just wild that we went from a year 1 where it was like yellow, this huge yellow menace, and then now it's like I don't know if there's any playable yellow decks. I mean, there's Quinlan, but like past that, it's like, what do you really have, right? So it just might be a full year, or not year, probably until rotation anyway. But it's just set 6 has like all the really good red green cards, so it's like we're gonna have it for a while. So we'll see what it looks like post rotation, but I have a feeling that red and green hero are going to be here for quite a while.
I think we'll see him for a little bit longer, because I think a lot of cards that are also really strong into those strategies are also red and green, right?
Yeah.
So like I think we're just going to see a lot of it, a lot of different variants. But
Poor yellow. Well, we have our first set 7 preview coming Saturday from PAX, with the trailer for A Lawless Time. So I assume it'll be like Worlds, where we'll see the intro decks pop up on the screen with like a few cards, the leaders and a few cards. So we'll kind of get an idea of what those uh, uh, set mechanics are, and kind of see what that looks like.
Mhm.
Mickey, what are your thoughts on all the decks?
All right. Hopefully I don't disconnect. My mic is being a little bit weird, so if I go mute, please yell at me. But set 6 decks, like the Anakin Data Vault was a bit of a surprise. Though I think we knew a red green hero value pile was going to be there. Some, whether it was more aggressive with ECL and Han 2, or people weren't looking at Anakin necessarily, but it makes a lot of sense. It's not like too large of a leap to go from Han 2 to Anakin in those similar colors. CG, you had mentioned that like Han 1 green and Quinlan performing well wasn't too big of a surprise, but to me it was like just how much set 6 added for those decks. Like those leaders have been around, but they got a lot of good toys. Quinlan got Nemec. That's huge for the deck. Like I thought Quinlan might be dead post Force Throw, but they didn't ban Tarkenton, and they gave him the best 2-drop in the game. So here we go. We're back on the horse. And then Han 1 green, well, the way Phil beat me, he just kind of beat me up on the ground. And normally you're used to Han 1 green. Like it can do that, but its early game is usually leaning towards these pilots and Falcons and Chewies. But Captain Typho is a really big add for that deck. You just slam him on 4, and then your opponent has to deal with it and your flip if they want to stop you from getting to a 7 on 5R. And so Typho fits perfectly in that deck, protecting the leader. I don't know if Phil did it both games, but I distinctly remember one game being like, all right, well, I have to get through this Typho and get to the Han, and like I only have 5 resources and only 1 Plo Koon, so what am I going to do? And so that got a bunch of new tools. Green Hero in general, I think, just got the most tools this set. You're talking about Mina and the Queen and Typho.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun additions.
Yeah, I mean those cards also all.
But yeah, other than that, I think one of the biggest shocks for me is just how hostile the meta feels for Han 2 Blue right now. Like that was kind of the de facto best deck end of last set coming into this set, and we only saw one in the top 8, and it didn't perform great over the course of the weekend. And so I don't know exactly what it is, but the meta feels kind of hostile towards Han 2 Blue right now.
Yeah.
I will tell. I played against one Han 2 Blue, is your teammate Tyler Ian, and like I just had the craziest start I think ever. I think I went like it was like Nemec into like double Bouncer's Quarry into red 5 into like 7 units on the following turn. It was just silly. I think there's just so much value for in these red green hero decks for the Han Blue to keep up, right? They're going one card. These other decks are just like throwing their hand on the ground.
There was a lot of like 3-power turn 1 plays that came back into the meta, and I think that is really hostile towards Ogdo Bogdo decks, like in general, especially Karis that like gets you another body afterwards too. He did overall pretty well with the deck, because like I think only dropped one match one match in the 3v3, and then he lost his win in the last round of pool 2. So he was real close to getting into the top 16, but yeah, I agree in general though that like the deck isn't the king of the format as it was. I do think it's still a good deck. I'm just convinced you don't need to do the force stuff anymore. Just play
I agree.
play like a 30 health version, and just play all the good value cards. Like Rex is such a messed up card in that deck.
Bo is messed up in that deck too.
Yeah, Bo is really good. Like there's so many awesome cards that it got that I think it can still like hang with the other big decks. I just think that people might need to innovate a bit with it.
Yeah, go back to like a set 3 style, like Han Blue non-force. Something that made top 8 at the Minnesota Regional. Just maybe do something like that. There's plenty of value cards, like you said, and you mentioned it earlier.
Like play Nemec yourself.
And you mentioned it earlier that it's like Han is like too slow right now almost, which is like kind of wild.
You can also
Yeah.
play all the shielded boys, right? You have that other 3/3 shielded you can play on turn
Yeah.
1. Like that's really good into the DV Anakin deck. It's right. Okay.
Yeah, just a bunch of shielded.
Trade into this guy. Like he's got a shield.
Right.
Feeling good. You better
Right.
have Sabine unit or whatever, or we're gonna be crushing.
Yeah, so maybe there's something there. People can explore that for PQs. So yeah, so we'll see. The next topic we'll jump into here, and the last one won't take much time at all, but this one I wanted to at least bring up. So just this afternoon, as of this recording, we got the prizes for sectors and regionals for this next batch. Set 6 stuff. I'm not gonna beat around the bush or be overly nice or positive. Like, I was very disappointed to see the prizing. So people who aren't aware, last cycle Europe got the regional. Of course, they had a Darth Vader promo for entry, awesome, and a Luke Skywalker
The pilot,
7
right?
drop.
Pilot Darth
Yeah,
Vader, right?
pilot, yeah,
The
and
upgrade, yeah.
yeah, and maybe not an like tier 1 card, but it's Darth Vader, right? People want Darth Vader. And then Luke Skywalker for the main event, day 2, plus, Top Cut. Today, they announced the US as Space Leia. So Meme Leia is the participation. And day 2 / Top Cut is Darth Traya. Like, the art's cool. That's fine. The art's cool. The playmat is awesome, just incredible. For the top 8, I don't know what they were thinking with this prizing. Like, it's still the same stuff. It's still like random cards. They're like half of the silver pack cards or whatever color pack cards are reprints. It's like, so there's like no value there. And I know that at this point we've like accepted that we don't play the game for the prizes. That's fine. But at least give us something that we can strive to win and be happy with, or something that maybe we can trade to make our trip, more worth. Like, it's just such a disappointment, event after event, to get the same stuff. And like, I feel like we just got screwed this cycle. I mean, even the sector prizes are like kind of whatever. It's just, all of it overall was just a really big disappointment. So just real quick, I mean, what do you guys think about this? Is there anything they can do to like make this better in the future? We've talked about this ad nauseum, but like, I just want to bring it up again.
I mean, I'll be someone who talks in a different light about this stuff. I think it's mostly fine. Outside of like, I don't really know why they reprinted some of this stuff in some of the same packs. I think that what they're showing us is that these are cards that they think are important post rotation. I think that's why these cards were chosen. Like, I think that we'll lose a lot of 7-drop yellow hero cards post rotation. Qui-Gon is one of the only ones that stays. He's probably like the premier Han unit type card in those archetypes going forward. Chancellor Palpatine, that card's busted.
Yeah,
that card
we
is
just
busted.
need to find
That's
a
the best
home
one.
for it. That card is absolutely busted.
Agreed.
I
think
have less
Space
of an
Leia,
issue with the sector prizing. Like the Qui-Gon is cool. The Chancellor Palp is cool, but the regional prizing is really what got
they're
me shaking
iconic
my
characters too, though. Like, everybody loves Qui-Gon. Chancellor Palpatine is a very iconic character. And I think for the regionals, like Darth Traya being like a question mark on how good that card is. If you're a fan of KOTOR, you want that card. Like, I saw many people excited about that, which, like, I am a huge fan of those games. I didn't really care about it, the card, but like, there are people out there that look at that card and I think are excited about it. Space Leia, I think, is a meme, but like, who knows? Maybe that card's cracked post rotation and we just don't know it yet. Like, I think the general like cards in the packs are great. Like, having another having like cards like Always 2, I think that card only gets better. I think the Darth Nihilus is amazing. Karis Nemec, like, they clearly knew that card was going to be amazing. Naboo Royal Starship, I think, is a card that people are sleeping on. Like, that's a really good plot card. So I don't know. I thought they were fine. All the playmats look great. This is just what I expect to happen for the remainder of this year because we're at the end of this like set cycle, like the 3-block cycle.
Mhm.
And it makes sense that all the cards that they chose are cards that aren't rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can jump in
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
I do think that this prizing kind of has a core root issue, which is since set 1 and maybe set 2, FFG is allergic to printing good legendaries. If there were some bomb legendaries that you could choose promos from, I think it would be fine. But like even before this announcement, after they announced like the Luke promos and they had the set 1 Vader promos at Worlds, so you kind of don't want to dip a second time there. And you've already used Anakin, you've kind of doubled up on Anakin because he was in the black packs too. It's like, what legendaries are you excited about to get a promo for? And
I mean,
especially in set
Grogu
6.
in the silver pack's awesome.
yeah.
That,
The
Yeah,
Grogu art
that
is
one's
Grogu
sick.
and
too.
Silver Pack is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
but
I think a perfect scenario, like honestly, the question: if you want to take the new cards from the new set, you could have had like the Nemec looks incredible. That could have just been the participation promo, and the placement promo could have just been Queen Amidala. The
yes,
card's insane,
Yeah.
and everyone I think would love that card. And I think it'll be look great in a promo version.
but I think there's some tension too of like, because Queen Amidala is the showdown promo, and like
Right.
you can double up there, but they want the showdowns to feel like they matter and like have some stakes, and they want
I
the
think that is
PQs to matter, and so they
so
need just more
just
good legendaries.
real quick, Mickey. I think that is actually the struggle that FFG has, is that they want to cater to these bigger events without taking away from people who can't go to these larger events and still
Mhm.
having like the smaller local events feel impactful and worth going to. So I think it actually is smart to a degree to put like the Queen Amidala card as like this showdown winner promo because that makes people who like if you want that promo, the easiest way to get it is literally just go play that event.
But I do think something like Dartre is the level of card that like would get people to play showdowns, and then you saved like your big swing for the Queen Amidala
I don't know
at
if that's true
Worlds.
because I'm still not going to the showdowns.
So
I'm
so
still
I
not going to it.
so I think a couple big things, right? One, stop reprinting the promos. Just stop it. Isn't there like even 2 Nemeks we can get just from the same level events? I think there's a one we get as
Yeah,
a
so
participation.
the
and
prize wall has the full art of the normal art, and
yeah.
that's what they did last set too for
No, but
the sectors and regional.
isn't Nemec one of the participation promos?
No.
No.
No,
Not
it's
at
not.
Sector
It's
Regional.
event pack and it's prize wall.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's event pack prize one. But
Yeah.
like they keep printing multiples of these. Cut it out. Like I don't need a second Anakin. The Grogu's cool. Like, but there's like so many that are just like it feels
Yeah. Darth
overwhelming.
Vader for the 4th time.
Darth Vader for the 4th time. Like, cut it out. And like if you look at like Queen Amidala, that would be a cool one. But we already have regular version, hyperspace version, prestige version, the showdown version. So you do one more. That'd be the 5th version of the card.
Yeah,
Like
I think if they stop doing
so,
carbonite, which is like another
I
topic, I
no,
think a lot of people would feel better about this
I'm
stuff.
okay with Carbonite, but here's the thing: they're so worried about giving us leaders as prizes because it's in the Carbonite supposedly, but that's the cheapest card. Like the showcases are dirt cheap right now. No one cares about them. So stop pretending like
Like,
that's a barrier.
They could
Give us that as the prizes.
stop
you're the
making
champion-
cards as prizing.
No,
Like,
but like if
give
you're
us
the
a
champion,
base. Like
what's the best leader in this set? Right? We've
Maybe
got
Padme.
maybe Padme.
like-
Cool. And it's a starter set leader. Guess what? Here's your like regional winning Padme.
Yeah.
Like there you go.
Well, I
How
always
hard
thought
is
that like the
How
top
hard is that?
64 ones that like you know how they do like if you top 64 with this leader and you're the highest performing one, you get a showcase. Like
Sure.
they could have just made those special too.
That's what I'm
Like
Put
saying.
they
like a
didn't
little
have to be
101
special.
stamp
showcases,
on
right?
it.
How
They
hard
have
is it? Stamp it. Stamp it.
Date
It's
it.
done.
Just
Yeah.
date it. Like
Well,
and
it's
just
just
so
weird to me
much.
because I've had conversations with people at FFG about this, and they have specifically said that they don't want to make alternate versions of leaders because they want to preserve the value of showcases. But it doesn't make
No.
sense to me if they feel about that way when they print 5 different versions of
Right.
Also,
Queen
Of the
what
Amidala
prestige.
and
value?
Darth
Right.
Vader.
Exactly.
So like,
What
why don't they care about those cards then if you're printing them into Oblivion with 5 different
Mhm.
arts?
Also,
Like,
what
just make us
value
a bunch
is
of
there
cool
to
leaders.
preserve in showcases right now? Because of Carbonite, that showcases just have no value.
yeah, I mean that's what I think we're saying that the point is. But
Yeah.
going back to what I was saying though, it's like you don't have to keep making like main deck cards as like your prizing for every single event at every single
Mhm.
level at every
And
single turn.
but
Like, why do we not have more like spot gloss bases and
yes,
like
Tata, why
acrylic
aren't we going to
bases?
Milwaukee and getting a Hoth base that says
Yes,
Milwaukee Regional on it?
right.
Yeah.
How
That would be
come
that'd
on.
be
Like
amazing.
we go to
Or
Las Vegas, you get a desert one, you get
yeah,
Tatooine. Like how hard is this stuff?
you can
It's
do
really
anything.
not.
There's so many
Right.
things you can do that aren't the fifth Darth Vader promo. You
Exactly.
know, like
Do you guys think that the Game Genic partnership has an effect on things like that, where
Yeah,
they almost view them as like they
probably.
have to do those things through Game Genic?
probably.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know what their like, agreement is. Maybe there's certain things they can and can't do that we don't know.
Like
Um,
when Destiny was around, was Game Genic not a thing?
It wasn't a thing. No,
no.
they
'Cause I know
actually,
Game
they,
Genic is a subsidiary of
Yeah.
Asmodee,
yeah,
Asmodee,
just
they,
yeah.
like FFG is.
from
So,
my understanding with Destiny, they printed all their like promos in house. So
hmm,
like they had a printer at the FFG headquarters and could just print the promos. And so the quality wasn't
gotcha.
amazing on them, but like for instance, at the first World Championships, they printed out a bunch of like the set one play promos, which were really rare at that time because the game had just come out and sold out everywhere and like you couldn't get these stuff. So
Yeah.
like they had just like did things like that, which maybe it's harder to do now. But like to your point, that could be why, because like they used to give out binders and other cool stuff too as prizes, and we haven't seen that. And and
Yeah. I
and the
hope that's
mats,
not what it
right?
is, because it just feels like at every step like that this game takes, that
Yep.
these contracts that FFG has signed in order to make the game like is just kind of biting them in the butt in terms of
A
like
little bit,
what
yeah.
players want.
There's
Even the
things
mat,
that
even the mat quality, right? Like the mat quality worlds, they got the stitch ones, they're
Stitch
sick.
ones,
And
yeah,
Mhm.
now
they look
we're like
great.
not getting those, and
So
but you can buy
so
them. So it's not just
Lorcana
like a big
does
advertisement
Lor-
thing for
let's
buying
see,
mats.
Lorcana does like foil play mats, which is kind of cool too. That's something
That's
that,
sick.
Star Wars can, maybe kind of look at too, not to copy from like other games, but like I I just want unique stuff that like I still have my prizing from top 4 in a regional that like I'll have forever because nobody wants it. And it's, it's if I don't even want it, like that's a
Mhm.
problem. So I hope that moving forward, we had season 0 and we said maybe they'll learn for season 1. Now we're in season 1 and they're doing the same stuff. And it's like, I just want different stuff. So hopefully we see it
There
in the
is,
future.
I don't want to go on this rant either, but that is another thing too. Like if you compare this to like Magic prize walls, their product's actually worth money. So like your tickets for them to buy like a collector booster box is pretty big ROI, where we don't really have that in this game, right? Like you're not
Yeah,
going to
right.
buy the Carbonite box to sell it. It won't sell. But if
Yeah.
you get this whatever the new set in Magic is collector box from the prize wall, like that's, there you go.
Like
You just made
I'll give them a
chunk of money.
pass on like value because like I know that they don't plan around and shouldn't plan around like secondary market value. But that being said, they still should like give you something that's like maybe actually collectible. And I feel like they're kind of missing the mark on that. So we'll see in the future. Tyler, do you have anything else to add? You chimed in earlier, but I don't know if you got to finish your thought.
No, it's just the same discussion we had leading up to Galactics. Like we had this exact same discussion and ideas
Yeah.
where we're like, oh man, what are they gonna do for Galactics? We saw the promos like, like a collectible lightsaber for like the person that won first. Like we had all the same exact ideas, and the fact that it's now getting repetitive and boring, and people are gonna start getting bored. They're gonna start. I'm
Yeah.
really surprised that, because what they did for the packs was they only replaced the cards that were rotating, and then everything, all the other promos that were in there, like the Planetary Bomber that's not rotating, they left them, which I think is crazy. I think they either just change them all or do something else,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we'll
the
see.
same song and dance.
We have Worlds coming up here in less than a year now, so they have time to try to figure out what they want to do for prizing. I feel like it might just be the same thing, just like here's some cool looking unique promos, which
8 months,
yeah,
eight
right,
months.
which
They can do
is
something.
fine.
Come on.
I hope they do something cool, but we'll see. I mean, we're all gonna go anyway. It's not like we're not gonna go, but it's just like it'll be cool and more fun and rewarding to play for things that like are unique. So we're almost at an hour, so we'll just kind of fly through this last topic here. But it is PQ season. We'll go into more PQs in probably the next episode. But uh, first PQs are coming up on December 6th. People now have kind of a meta to build around. So we'll just go around real quick. I'll start with Tyler. Tyler, what's your first PQ and what are you playing?
I am going to a nice, my local store got a PQ, like it's a 64 player cap, so I get to enjoy what's down south feels like for once. And I am most likely going to be playing Anakin again. I'm going to be giving it a try. We're going to see if if there's any even preparation in the meta that's going to be punishing it. If it is, I got a lot of other things I'm going to look at. I loved seeing Quinlan come pack up, so I may go back to her. She did great for me in Galactics, and I may go back, but Anakin's got its grip on me currently right now, and I'm currently seeing like I may be riding it out for the rest of set 6.
We'll see. Ian, you have any coming up?
Yeah, I actually have on the first weekend, December 6th in Biloxi, Mississippi. So I'm gonna be figuring out what the hell I'm doing. I don't know yet. I might try to work on the Yoda deck, but I think that it's at a spot where like no matter what you change to it, the matchups will stay the same. And I know my local PQ scene tends to go slightly more aggressive in space than say like a sector would or what BIATL was.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would be probably a good time for me. So I might try to just brew something up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decks that I feel like I kind of stopped early in testing because I just wasn't sure where the meta was at. And now that like I kind of have an idea based on BIATL, maybe I can try to get those decks in a good spot.
Nice. Yeah.
Play something cool that no one's expecting.
Yeah. I personally have one. My first PQ is actually the second weekend, which is December 13th, and it's limited, thankfully. So I don't have to play my Ray deck into a bunch of Anakins. I can wait a few weeks while all that dies down and then go back to Ray. So we'll see how it goes. Mickey, what about you?
Yeah, my first PQ or potential first PQ is also the first week in December 6th. If it was tomorrow, I would just default to Quinlan, but for the first time, I don't feel like great about Quinlan's spot. So I've been looking at either Han4 Town, same colors, and I think space is kind of the natural next place. Or if you want to beat those mid-range grind decks the other direction, I've been kind of thinking some Palpatine could be pretty well positioned. Sabine's at an all-time low. I think you have the tools to beat the Anakin Data Vault deck. I'm not 100% sure. You can still get skimmed out by General's Blade stuff, but you have the tools. You can eat up on all these other mid-rangey piles, and it's kind of similar to Yoda, where you just try and fade space, but I think you may have a couple more tools you can bring in post board compared to the Yoda deck.
I mean, if you're Palp Yellow, you have like legacy runs, which are a lot better
Yeah,
into space decks
exactly.
than Yoda has remotely anything that can be like that.
Yeah. And if everyone's playing these mid-range soup decks, I just want my leader to be the most unfair flip possible. And I think Palpatine is that.
Yeah. That's the problem with the blue hero decks, like Ian mentioned, is that like there's a lot of them right now that are very, very good, but there's nothing that they can do to beat the space decks. Like it doesn't matter what color you pair it with. It doesn't matter. It's just like there's just nothing you can do. You just get pounded, like just relentlessly.
Bombing run used to be so good against them, but there's just too many 4 health ships now.
Yeah.
Or shields, and it just like doesn't not enough.
And hyperspace disaster is just a little too slow.
I will say that was the crazy thing about playing Talzin all weekend with the let's call it war card. It's like I can kill 4-cost ship. It's like this is sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Talzin ability powerful.
So CJ, what about you? Do you have any PQs coming up?
Yeah, I got a couple coming up. I'll probably just play the Han 2 again. My favorite thing to do, and people know this from me and my time with Sabine and the Sabine thread, I love knowing the potential matchups and trying to come up with the lines and the right spots, right? Like Sabine's masterpiece for Han 1 and like all those crazy things that come from thinking about those things. So that's probably how I'll spend the rest of my time, at least for the next couple of weeks, try to brainstorm how to fight the new meta, and we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Yeah. So PQs again coming up starting December 6th. That's the first weekend of PQs. We have one more show prior to that, so we'll go more into detail on a future show. But that's going to wrap up this show. CJ, somehow you just keep stay winning. So I don't know how it happens. So
It's been a good couple of weeks, John.
yeah. So why don't you have your time here, then we'll wrap up the episode.
Yeah, all I want to talk about is how great of a time I had at BIATL. Thank you so much to the BN team and Frank, Courtney, Ian, everyone who put on the event. It was amazing. My favorite part of the entire event was this is one of the first like trading card games events I've ever been to where after every round I had a different group of people I could go and talk to. Right, it was crazy. Like, oh man, the Denver guys are over there. Let's go see how they're doing. Let's talk to them. Oh, we got the guys from Portland over here. Just met them. They're really cool. Oh, we got the BN crew over there. Let's talk about how our rounds are going. And then McClunky and the other KTOD boys. This was the first event where there was very few strangers there, right? And even if they were strangers, they felt comfortable enough to come up and talk about, this show or talk about the decks we were running. It just felt like a big community. And this really was one of the first events where it just felt like everyone there was just having a good time, right? And even if they were losing, winning, whatever was going on, there was some tense games of SWU, right? This was highly competitive, and we played a team event where like the actual clout mattered a lot for a lot of these teams, right? It was really important that they win. Like, it felt really meaningful, and it just always felt chill, relaxed, calm, and everyone was just having such a great time. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for all the great vibes, right? I think it made for an excellent weekend, and I had very, very few complaints. So
Yeah.
thanks to everyone for being great.
Yeah, I mean, I can second that myself. Even though we're all on like opposing teams, uh, we're all still really good friends and always care that we all do well. So it's great. Like this game has great vibes, and you don't see that very often in very many other games. So,
No.
but that's gonna be it for this episode. If anyone ever has any future topics that they want to see on future episodes, always feel free to comment, and we'll slide it in a future episode. But until then, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
See ya.